Hi everyone, today we're playing episode 2 of Nader Shah.
And today we're going to find out if the Immortals really were immortal.
Let's see. So last we left off, we had 4 cities, one of them next to this wonderful wonder that gives us 2 general points and 2 great merchant points, which will be very helpful in our preparation for war with Mongolia. And I think today's goal is to take out Mongolia completely. The other thing we want to do is get Apadana because that is going to be pretty relevant to our historical conversation.
Sure.
Now it is on deity level, so I'm not sure if it's possible. It's quite late, turned 55, but I think it's worth the shot, which means we're gonna have to get a lot of builders, which we are, and faith purchase our builders before we start mass settling all of these pinned locations that I have down. Now,
Wow.
I did a lot of planning off screen because I don't want to be thinking while I'm playing. I just want to play. And also with Persia, you kind of need to plan out where your commercial hubs, holy sites, as well as theater squares are going so you can get max adjacency on your pardesas. Now, back to the war front. Here we have our first immortal.
Ooh, wow.
What do you think of the costume design here?
Well, they got some spears, which I guess is accurate. They have some shields. I think the shields were made of wicker. They also have some bows. So I think the idea here for the immortal unit in Civ 6 is that they can do both a ranged attack and a melee attack.
Exactly. And it makes them quite OP. I think a lot of the swordsman unique units, it's no longer possible to do a rush with on deity because they have added man-in-arms, which really makes the timing quite difficult. But I think the immortals are the exception to that.
Right, because of that ranged attack, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it means you don't need to bother with archers. But I will get animal husbandry.
Okay, let's give those animals some husbands.
Yeah.
But I think, the depiction in Civ 6 is not too bad. Civ 3...
I kind of disagree. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
It kind of looks like Prince of Persia-esque, which is not quite what we know from their sort of reliefs in Persepolis.
Right.
Which I guess technically aren't immortals, but are Persian soldiers.
Right. They look better than Civ 3, in which they had a sword, a shamshir, which they did not usually fight with. They look better than Civ 4, in which they're just in robes, I think, which is not great.
No. More like Aladdin than Prince of
Aladdin
Persia.
style. We actually don't know a huge amount about what they actually look like. We have reliefs of soldiers from Persepolis, but we don't know if they were immortals. If we take the Greek sources at their word, maybe
we?
not
No.
necessarily, but on this we don't have any other choice. We know that the immortals were a 10,000 strong unit of soldiers. They were replaced whenever one was injured, killed, retired, so they were always kept at 10,000, so they were in that sense immortal. 1,000 of them were the royal bodyguards, the most elite unit. And they had special golden spears with apple bottoms.
Apple bottom spears.
Apple bottom spears. Hats with the fur, yeah. And then the rest of them had silver pomegranate bottom spears.
Also, I recently learned from you, Dr. Crow, when we were watching watching Lord of the Rings for Christmas, and you said something that I had no idea, so maybe other people don't know. They actually didn't go like hold your fire, aim with bows and arrows, right?
Yeah, you can't actually just hold an old style bow like that. Like, it's not possible. So people would just shoot when they needed to shoot. They didn't just all wait for one guy to say fire. Another thing is the immortals here, right? Their unique thing is that they're both ranged and melee. But this is actually really common in classical warfare. So the Romans too, they would have their spear, they would throw, their javelin, they would throw, and then they would go in close with their short weapons.
And another sort of classical age combat style is the Parthian shot, right?
Yeah,
which
look
I
at
have
that.
here. But you see he's actually taking a selfie.
Yeah, it's a modern style. Parthian shot.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about what that is?
Yeah, so the Parthians are the successors to Macedonian empires, right? The ones that conquered the Achaemenids. There is Alexander, then there are his successors. The Parthians are a nomadic group that comes in and very quickly basically defeats the successor dynasties in Persia. They are famous because they are able to ride their horses and then shoot arrows whilst writing like backwards essentially, right? So that's the Parthian shot, named after them. That was our famous technique.
Okay, we can get started on Apadana here.
Okay, let's get started.
As we mentioned, we have relief sculpture of the Immortals at Apadana. So what is Apadana?
Apadana is the royal hall built by Darius the Great. Darius. He is essentially you can say the third important king. He comes to power when there's this whole drama about Cyrus has a son, and then there's a brother who's an imposter,
Right.
and then it's a whole thing, really complicated.
Yeah, you're talking about Bardia?
Bardia, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember this from a class I took 10 years ago. So keep that in mind when we talk about this topic. You know, it's been a long time since we learned it.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically the story of Bardia being super dramatic and also super confusing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, who's who? I don't think we're going to try to retell that
No,
story.
you can look it up. So when he comes to power, Darius, there's a little bit of uncertainty about whether he's actually a rightful king. He goes on these huge building projects.
Right. And we have Behistun, right?
Yeah, Behistun is an inscription in which he says, I came to power through the grace of, the supreme deity, Ahura Mazda. I came into power, I set things right. I established order in the states. And Persepolis too, he wants to show that he is capable of conducting this huge building program, adding something to the state. In Apadana, which is the main hall of Persepolis, it is a talar form, right, which is a hypostyle hall.
Which, if you remember, is a bunch of columns and a flat roof that sits on top. That's how the support system is built. And Persepolis, Apadana, has the same style of building, but it also has a talar, which is unique to the ancient Persians, we think. Of course, we can't be sure. But then it's a style that's picked up later by other Persian kings.
By the Timurids, by the Safavids, by the Qajars.
Right.
So it's really recycled throughout history.
I need more money. Let's see. I think you get a better deal if you do one at a time, because now I want to build my government plaza over here, so you can see a little bit of my setup. Oh yeah, and I want to build this wonder, Casa de
Contrastion?
Contrastion.
We're
Thank
gonna
you.
say casa.
I was gonna say nothing.
Nothing,
I had no
okay.
idea. Which I've never built before, but it seems like a good wonder for this game with the triple continent split. I think it gives you like extra gold and stuff.
That sounds good.
For cities not on your continent. So at Apadana, we also have this really unique relief sculpture showing the governors as well as the other subjects that are non-Persian, bringing gifts to the king, right?
Yeah, it's a very interesting relief, and it's important to think about it in comparison to what came before. So if you look at the relief sculptures in, for example, Assyrian palaces, right? The Neo-Assyrian Empire comes before the Persian Empire. It is a series of hunting scenes, cities being destroyed, people massacred, people being impaled. Maybe we can show it up here.
Yeah. Don't demonetize us. We're not monetized at all.
Whereas when we come to Apadana, the relief program is totally calm, at peace, harmonious empire. All the subject peoples of the empire are depicted the same size. They're all just peacefully giving their gifts to the king. So it's a really different ideology of statesmanship. When you look at the way the Persian Empire was governed, it was governed through a kind of semi-autonomous system, right? So they had satrapies. That's the unique ability of Persia in this game. They are essentially provincial governors, but one of the unique features of the Safavids is that they usually tried
The
to...
Safavids? I'm barely paying attention, but I caught that one.
Sorry. One of the unique features of the Achaemenids was that they usually tried to keep existing governmental structures intact. They would choose a satrap from the local nobility, local aristocracy, and only if that satrap rebelled or majorly messed up would they replace him with a Persian official from the central state.
Yeah, and so here we have the satrapy skill for Nader Shah. So again, not quite accurate for Nader Shah, but it comes from the ancient Persian kit, where you get a trade route, capacity with political philosophy, and golden culture between your own cities. So I think it's a reference to this political ideology of the ancient Persians of including subjects in different regions through justice rather than fear. But that's a common sort of debate about how Cyrus ruled. I have a political science major. I did a double major. I remember from our class on Machiavelli, he talked a lot about Cyrus, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in your class, but Yeah, he talks about
I told you about it, so we can talk about it today.
he talks about Cyrus because we have two sort of visions of Cyrus that come to us from the Greeks. One is from Xenophon in his Civilopedia, where he depicts Cyrus as this perfect king almost, right? He's perfectly just. He's even just when it's to the detriment of the interests of the state. Whereas from Herodotus, we have a very pragmatic Machiavellian
Yeah.
Cyrus. What Machiavelli says is that really the ideal ruler should sit within that ambiguity, right? He should have the image of a just king, but then in the background be the pragmatic king. Because of that, Machiavelli really puts Cyrus as a model ruler.
Okay, so I'm not gonna declare war through this system. I'm just gonna press escape and not say anything. I just want to make sure we're not gonna get surprised by any units around the side and take some of my units across the river and bring this last one closer.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, make sure we're fully in position to take Korla.
One of the other features of the satrapy ability is that it increases the level of your roads to one level more advanced. And this is a reference to the royal road system of the Persian Empire. So there is a whole network of roads that were well maintained that connected the reaches of the empire together. And this was a really unique element of the Persian state, was this whole royal road network system. On that network, they instituted the first official postal service. But you actually will see, that postal service idea will be maintained, developed in the Mongols too. They'll have a very similar system. And then, the Pony Express in the US takes it from the same idea.
Okay, should we declare a war? I think we're ready.
Okay.
Their borders are kind of being annoying, so let's declare a surprise war. So now we won't get the road bonus, which is the, extra 5 or something movement with Cyrus. But I think the Immortals are strong enough without that movement. So we know about the justness of Cyrus through Civilopedia, but we also have another source, which is the Cyrus cylinder, right?
Yeah, we have the Cyrus cylinder. We have also one more source, which is the Old Testament. But let's talk about the Cyrus cylinder first, because they're related, actually.
Who got captured? My builder? That's so rude. Arr.
Wow.
Guess they only had 1 charge left, but am I gonna get Apadana? It's 7 turns away, turn 63.
You think we can chop?
I'm chopping as fast as I can. Yeah, I'm just selling off all my luxuries.
So the Cyrus cylinder is a very small object. It is currently in the British Museum. Don't know how it got there.
Why is it in the British Museum?
Often termed the invention of human rights.
Yep, heard that before.
Heard that. It's maybe not exactly that, but what it is a cylinder which says that Cyrus will respect the laws of Babylon, which he just conquered, and will not exercise royal power arbitrarily.
Okay.
Right? So he will respect custom, respect precedent, and respect the rights of the people. So, it's a very interesting thing. We have this idea of Persia, which comes from mostly the 19th century tradition,
Yeah.
which says
or the movie 300.
Or the movie 300.
Worse than Herodotus, really.
which says that Persia is absolutely tyrannical. There's no freedom, no justice, no whatever. And, clearly this is not the case.
Yeah.
The other source we have is the Old Testament, and one of the things that's mentioned there is that, again, as we mentioned, the Assyrians, the Neo-Babylonians would usually deport conquered peoples, to new areas, force them to live away from their homeland so that they could be more easily controlled. During the Neo-Babylonian Empire, the Babylonians destroy the temple in Jerusalem, and they deport probably not all of the Israelites, but a portion of them to captivity in Babylon. We got it!
Ooh, we did it!
And
Nice.
Cyrus allows them to return and allows them to rebuild the temple.
Right. So here we have Apadana. My ancestor Darius made this Apadana, but it was burnt down. By the grace of Aramazda, Anahita, and Mithra, I reconstructed this Apadana. Artaxerxes the second.
Wow.
Interesting. This is one of the few wonders we've seen so far in our series that actually has a quote from the people who made it.
That's true.
So that's nice, actually. So with the Alhambra, it was Washington Irving, who's an American Orientalist scholar. But here we have Artaxerxes II. So let's take a look at it. Here we have the hypostyle, open talar, which you see has no walls. And then here's the reliefs. You can kind of see it,
Yeah,
right?
they kind of actually added it right there.
Right, so maybe we'll show a comparison. And here we actually have wind towers, or is that what they're called?
I think so. Yeah,
Bodgirs?
Bodgir. Yeah, wind towers.
Yeah. Do you want to describe what those are?
Yeah, this is a Persian architectural form, very old, which captures the wind and acts as a form of air conditioning for the building.
Yeah.
So it has these slats that accept the wind, and then it goes in, cools the whole building.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go underneath, hit a pool of water, and then come back up.
Yeah, and we do have a little fountain here.
Mm-hmm.
My expertise, not these kinds of fountains. Okay, so let's get back to the war and back to this idea of justice, which
Right.
is the opposite of war.
Right, but maybe, you know, we can make a Nader Shah cylinder after we capture the city.
I think I'm just gonna go for it. Go do like a melee shot here. Oh, almost.
Almost.
Okay, next turn.
Now, we won't go too much into detail about the whole history of Achaemenids, the Greco-Persian Wars, because the civilopedia is really detailed on that. It's extremely detailed.
Let me show you. It's insanely long. Look at this. Compared to the Ottomans, which get like absolutely nothing, I feel like maybe we need to contact the Civ developers and be like, do you need us to write something? The amount they wrote about ancient Persia, which is just a portion of the history
slice.
we are going to speak about.
And like when we talk about ancient Persia, we're not even just talking about the Achaemenids. We're talking about the Parthians, as we mentioned, and the Sassanids.
And maybe we should clarify, when we say ancient Persia, we're not talking about the same ancient in the game here. So you see ancient era, that's going to be more like Babylon and the Assyrians,
Egypt, yeah.
Egyptians, and the Persians fall more under the classical era, which is why Apadana is a classical era wonder.
Yeah, like usually the Persian conquest of like Babylon, Assyria is taken to be the kind of end of the Mesopotamian period or Mesopotamian studies, right? Which is, you know, interesting because I think we collapse them together a lot, but Persia, in that sense, very new civilization, right? We have the earlier civilizations like Elam, Susa, right, which are very old as Sumer. Persia itself is a pretty new entity.
Now, the hard thing about going to war with just 5 units is that every unit matters, so I cannot lose anyone. So I think what I'm going to do is this. Nice. Great. So we got the kill.
Stunning victory.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to bring you up to be promoted or upgraded soon. I'm going to take the promotion.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to move one, take the promotion, and then move everyone up, and then make sure I'm damaging the swordsman because that's the real problem here. And then take the city with this unit here, just a melee attack. And we got it.
Nice.
Great. Korla has fallen.
Korla.
It has not fallen because we will keep it.
Now, when is that going to rebel?
11 turns, not
too bad,
bad.
not too
Yeah,
bad.
not too bad. So we will get another governor, a promotion in 11 turns. Maybe we should get another builder over here to chop that out. And ooh, it looks like we can clear this out. Perfect.
Nice.
Sorry, Vilnius. I stole it from you.
Now, one interesting thing is that, you know, the names that we use, Persepolis, Pasargad, I mean, that is a Persian name. It obviously has the A, the extra A.
Pasargadae.
In Greek.
Yeah, in Greek.
But obviously, Persepolis is not a very Persian-sounding
True.
name. So it has a different name, actually, customarily in Iran. What is that?
Is it Takhta Jamshid?
Yeah.
Yes, I pass. I keep my Persian card. I have actually been there, so it would have been kind of embarrassing if I didn't get it right. But I remember I went to Pasargad first, and then Persepolis is about 20 minutes away.
Pasargad is the earlier capital. It was built by Cyrus II.
Yeah.
Persepolis is mostly built by Dariush, and it's extended by the later Persian monarchs, as we mentioned. But it's called, Takhta Jamshid. The Persian royal tombs that are built by Dariush have the name Naqsh-e-Rostam, image of Rostam.
Yes.
And Rostam is sort of like Hercules, I guess. He's a kind of heroic figure. He should have been a hero in the game, probably, actually.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. But actually, the Shahnameh tradition gives us a whole nother side of the Greco-Persian Wars, and in particular, the war between Dariush III, right, who's called Dara in the Shahnameh, and Alexander, who's called Iskandar. In terms of the actual event sequence, it's pretty similar to the Greek histories, but the whole tone of the war is different, right? In the Shahnameh, it kind of comes out essentially as a kind of misunderstanding. Alexander wants to move his armies to the edge of the world, but Dara sees that as a threat, so he attacks, not understanding that Iskandar really is the ruler of the age, right? He's someone who is not just a kind of regular king, but is someone who has a kind of world importance. So because of that, Dara just keeps losing, and he is betrayed by his servants, But Iskandar has a huge amount of respect for him. He gives him a royal burial. He says, I will defend the Persian Empire, defend Persian culture, defend Iran. In the Shahnameh tradition, Iskandar really is not a conqueror, right? He is the inheritor and the protector of Iran. And so in the Shahnameh, he goes on all these adventures, right? He builds a wall to keep the demons of the north at bay. He visits China, visits Ethiopia. What's interesting is that the Shahnameh more or less skips over the later Hellenistic dynasties, and it skips over totally the Parthians. But then it goes right into Sasanians as if nothing happened.
Well, we also don't know much about the Parthians, right? It's one of the empires that we know the least about out of the three.
Yeah, it's really strange, actually. We actually know very little about the Parthians, despite the fact that they were so important.
Yeah. And the Parthian shot.
And the Parthian shot. So what we do know comes mostly from Greeks and Romans. Again, extremely biased sources, so it's hard to say anything for sure. We do actually have Chinese sources about the Parthians, which is very useful because they don't quite have the same ideological investment. Compared to the Achaemenids and the Sassanids, we know a lot less.
Right. Okay, the war is heating up over here. And actually, speaking of China, maybe we can talk a little bit about Iran and Turan.
Yeah, Iran and Turan is let's say a dichotomy, but it's not quite a hard dichotomy. That is one of the central motifs of the Shahnameh tradition. So in contemporary ideas, Iran refers to Persian speakers.
Oh, we found a wonder.
Ooh, Crater Lake.
Yeah.
And Beowulf.
Okay, irrelevant. Sorry, keep going.
And Turan, in contemporary terms, usually refers to the Turkic-speaking peoples of Central Asia. That probably was not the case in its original formulation. Turan probably usually did refer to Central Asia, but it could refer to the Iranic-speaking peoples of Central Asia as well. And in any case, in the Shahnameh tradition, it's not like Iran is good, Turan is bad, right? They're brother kingdoms, sister kingdoms that are always sort of in competition, but also in cooperation. The kings of Iran will marry the queens of Turan and vice versa. It's sort of like a romance between these two empires, right? That kind of dualistic notion, some scholars have really actually connected it to the dualism of Iranian religion, more generically. So the two religions that we'll talk about here today are Zoroastrianism and Manichaeism.
Which some people may know, some may not know is a term in English.
Yeah, it has a negative term usually. Manichaean.
Oh God, crossbows.
Oh no. Where'd they come up with that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it has a negative term because it sort of means when George Bush is you're either with us or against us. Good, there's only good and there's only evil. That's sort of a Manichaean worldview.
I feel like the George Bush reference no longer holds with our Gen Z audience. So you might need another reference. A more updated reference.
Yeah, it refers to a very binary worldview.
I need to get rid of the crossbow ASAP.
Immediately.
Is 2 enough? No.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you have one more movement. Great.
Whew.
Great. Okay, awesome. What are we at here? 2 turns.
Oh no.
What are we at here? 4 turns. Oh no. Let's do a chop here. 1 turn. That's fine.
Okay, that's better.
And let's buy the monument. I need gold to buy it.
I think you just need 170, right? Is that right?
No.
Okay.
No, where did you come up with that
I just made that up.
You need 240.
Okay. All right.
I didn't want to sell any more luxuries. Maybe more iron. No one wants iron. Okay, we're just gonna sell this one at a time.
Okay, let's get to 240.
Yeah, okay. See you back when I've sold all of these. Okay, one more. They stopped buying it at 5, but we got it.
Okay, we got it. Whew.
So now I don't even know if this is gonna help. And we're not in 2 turns. Okay. Let's see what happens next turn, I guess. I don't know if that even helps.
Okay.
It must help, right? And then this guy is just literally constantly going out to bait the chariot to go there instead. It's been working.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad I came up here, although there's 2 quadriremes, so I'm gonna go in and out. Oh, maybe it would help to have this trade route out of Korla.
Okay.
Oh, don't kill anyone, please. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
And one turn. Okay, what if I do that? Still 1 turn. What if I appoint Liang? Still one
One
turn.
turn.
Is there nothing I can do? Okay, what if, let's sell some
Someone's gonna
stuff.
buy anything.
Let's sell some stuff.
Okay.
What if I buy a unit?
I think that's a good idea.
Is it for any garrison unit or is it just melee? I think it should be with any. So let's do a slinger here. Oh, that actually worked.
Wow, that helped
yes,
a lot.
high five. I didn't think that would work.
Wow.
I need to start building commercial hubs ASAP so I can make use of the Nader ability. Okay, so ooh, we found the twins. I kind of just want Hercules.
Yeah.
Or Hamiko.
Or Rostam.
Or Rostam, yeah. Anyways, back to mythology.
Yeah, well, let's do religion.
Oh yeah, back to religion.
So Zoroastrianism and Manichaeism, yeah, sort of reflect this notion of duality, dichotomy in Iranian theological thought. Now, one of the differences between Manichaeism and Zoroastrianism is that Zoroastrianism, it is a religion in which there is a god of goodness, of light, of life in the world, Ahura Mazda, and then there is a demon of darkness, right? So because, even though it's a dualistic religion, because Zoroastrians only worship the god of light, because of that it was considered a monotheistic religion, right? And is considered a monotheistic religion. In the case of Zoroastrianism, there's no differentiation between, for example, the world and spirit. And that's where Manichaeism develops, right? It says that the world is evil and dark, and that the world of the spirit is light, right? So because of that, Manichaeism was really persecuted by Christianity. Even though there's sort of similar ideas there, viewed as a heresy, which is one of the reasons why it has such a negative connotation today. Zoroaster, as a prophet, we know very little about, actually. So people will say he lived sometime between 1500 BC and 500 BC, so in that 1,000 years. We do know roughly some of his life because we have it from the Zoroastrian texts, from the Avestan texts.
Okay, this is getting a little challenging. Am I gonna lose this immortal?
Can we flip him back with the other guy?
Yeah, maybe I can switch places here, but he does have a skirmisher, which can do a bit of damage. But I think that's my only hope to keep it maybe alive.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's do that. Hopefully I don't want anyone to die. They're supposed to be immortal. I guess now we answer the question.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Are
Yeah.
they immortal?
We'll see.
Oh no, what is happening here? I need a unit here too. Is a slinger enough?
For a warrior, for sure. I'm not sure about that chariot.
Okay, we'll get a slinger for now. And then I'm actually gonna work on archery. Maybe I should get walls.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and another goodie hut. That's nice.
Wow.
What was England doing? They didn't search anything. Great. I actually do need the money, so that's good.
Yeah.
Ooh, what? I'm sorry. You cannot hold the loyalty over here. Are you serious? I'm gonna send my first settler there.
You have the barbarian archer over there too, near Gordian.
Oh God. Vilnius, what are you doing? I left it alone thinking Vilnius would figure it out.
One of the things that is characteristic about Zoroastrianism is a special importance placed on fire as a symbol, as a metaphor. And so one of the architectural features of Zoroastrianism are the fire temples, where an unbroken, continuous fire is maintained, and looks like they are mortal.
Yeah, it looks like they are indeed mortals.
Very mortal.
I was lied to. But I think, okay, sacrificing
now we can take the city, yeah.
one is fine. Okay, how do I do it? Let's see. You come over here. You come here. Let's see. I kind of want the gold. No, I don't want the gold. I don't know. Should I do melee shots or should I do range shots? Let's do range shots. Play it safe.
Okay.
They're not building walls, so we're still fine. And then next turn we'll take it.
Okay, sounds good. And today we have fire temples, which are mostly in India, right? In Gujarat, because the Parsis, modern day Zoroastrians, had to emigrate from Iran to India. But they would maintain these fires in special vessels so that the fires that we have in these fire temples, as far as we know, may be continuous fires that have lasted for hundreds or thousands of years. Another feature of Zoroastrian architecture are the Towers of Silence. A very interesting name, but they are essentially towers that are very tall where they would dispose of corpses, right, of human bodies, because the idea was that you don't want to pollute the earth with a human body, but you also don't want to pollute fire with a human body through cremation. So they would have these towers where they would put the bodies, and then the birds, natural decay would gradually just dissolve the bodies. And so if you go to places like Yazd in Iran, for example, there are still remnants of these towers of silence. And of course, in India, you can find them as well.
Okay, so it looks like we finally got the city
Ooh,
of
Al-Maluk.
Al-Maluk.
I'm guessing it's Al-Maluk, right? Like an apple orchard.
Oh, Elma?
Yeah, but I could be wrong about that.
So Elma in Turkish is apple, and luk is a suffix in Turkish. So I'm guessing a lot of these cities are actually Uyghur terms.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So Uyghur is a Turkic language written in the Arabic script. We are keeping that city. Does that help? No. Oh my God. Can you please relax? Well, what about you? I need more governor titles, which I will get in 3 turns.
Okay, and that's rebelling in
3
3 turns. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll see how I keep these cities.
We do have some money now, so maybe
Oh,
we can...
did I move a student?
Yeah.
What did I move?
You moved a slinger.
Now it's full loyalty.
Huh.
Oh, I guess I had to refresh.
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess we'll figure out what we're doing in the next episode. Hopefully take over Mongolia. That was my goal for this episode. Did not manage it. Immortals, definitely mortal, but
Extremely mortal.
Extremely mortal.
Yes.
But hopefully the rest of them will be enough to take over the other cities.
Okay, sounds good. So if you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button.
Yes.
Leave
do
a
not
comment.
smash it.
Do not
Just
smash
lightly
it. Do
tap
not
it.
pound it. Do not mash it.
Why are all of the terms for this like euphemisms? I don't understand. Can you please just gently tap it?
Yeah.
That's also a
That's also a
euphemism. But we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
See you.